Depending on when you watch this video, the new year is either right around the corner or maybe we're firmly in it at this point. There are some changes coming, not only in the real estate and the appraisal world, but, well, in business in general. I mean, the proliferation of artificial intelligence, changes with the search engines, changes in customer buying behavior, and changes, well, with the speed of change are making for some interesting trends in 2025. In this episode, I'm going to lay out 4 trends that I see happening in 2025 that you may just want to keep your eyes on because, well, like many trends over the years that have turned into the normal way things are done now, I have a feeling these 4 trends may end up just that, the normal way business is done. Welcome to the show, my friend. My name is Blaine Feyen, and I help small business owners go from being overworked and underpaid to making more than they ever imagined while working considerably less, which of course allows them to do more, be more, live more, and give more. Let's talk about the 4 trends that I see increasing in 2025. Let's start first with just the appraisal industry and some technical things that are going on in the appraisal industry. Of course, one of the things, and I've talked about it before, is the increase in appraisal waivers. If you're not familiar with appraisal waivers, you can just find the video where I talked about appraisal waivers, what they mean, what they don't mean. But there's going to be an increase, supposedly, in appraisal waivers in 2025 for appraisers, for lenders, for real estate agents. The FHFA has increased the lending threshold on appraisal waivers from 80% loan to value to 90% loan to value, and in some cases up to 97% loan to value. Now, we're not going to go deep on what that means right now. You can just Google what all of that means. But what it potentially means is that appraisers are maybe going to be appraising a little bit less. At least some of the what we call cookie cutter stuff or some of the basic stuff that you may have appraised in the past might be off the table for you. If that increase from 80% loan to value to 90% loan to value actually happens, could be less appraisal volume. The lending guidelines are changing. How do we know this? Well, the increase in appraisal waivers. If they're increasing the loan to value ratio or the threshold in which they'll or at which they'll allow an appraisal waiver to be issued, that also means that some of the lending guidelines are loosening. One of the other changes we're seeing is the codification of the ROV, or reconsideration of value process. Now, those appraisers who are watching this and they're getting all upset about the reconsideration of value process, the reconsideration of value process has been around for a long time. No need to get upset about it. The only thing that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have done is they've essentially put it into play and they've codified it now. Where before it was kind of loosey-goosey. There were no rules and lenders could ask for multiple reconsiderations of value and they could send 2 or 3 comps over, and then if they didn't like the answer on those or that reconsideration, they could send over another one. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have basically said, here's the rules. And the rules are essentially you get one shot at it. The lender has to disclose before or at loan application, then during the loan process. But they essentially get one shot, total of 5 comps. This is good for appraisers, and I've talked about this in other podcasts, so I'm not going to go deep on it. It's just a trend and an increase or a change in 2025. We could see potentially an increase in reconsiderations of value because the lender is now notifying by law the borrower that they have the option of reconsidering the value. What I think this is going to do is it's going to make the industry a little bit more professional. Again, I know some appraisers are upset about it. I get that. However, the last big change that we're seeing in the appraisal industry going into 2025 is the demand for more support for adjustments. Adjustments are the things that appraisers use to make one comp more similar to the subject property and so on. So adjustment support is becoming a bigger issue. There are software programs out there like Synapse and some other things that will help appraisers with adjustment support. But the demand for support for adjustments is not just a trend, it's a change that's going to be required by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So what does this all mean? What I think it ultimately means for appraisers specifically is that it is time to become that much more professional. It's time to become more educated. I mean, just in the simple fact or process of supporting your adjustments. If you don't feel confident supporting your adjustments, you're going to have to get more educated, which means becoming more professional. I think it's going to be time for appraisers to become more focused and, of course, more efficient. Where there's more work required on an appraisal, efficiency is the trade-off for getting more work done in less time, but maintaining the quality. So overall, I think these changes are going to be good for the appraisal industry. I think this trend is going to be good in that professionalism is always welcomed in the appraisal business. I, as an appraisal business owner for the last 25 years, always welcome changes in the industry that make it more professional. Am I happy with everything that's going on in the industry? Well, of course not. I don't think there are any appraisers, but I always look for the silver lining. And one of the silver linings in this particular trend for 2025 is that all of those changes are going to force the industry to be that much more professional. Another trend in 2025, changes to SEO and search. If you're not familiar with what SEO is, SEO simply stands for search engine optimization. If you haven't become aware of the changes to search engine optimization or what's happening in general in search on all the search engines, well, just pick up your cell phone or go on your computer and search Google for anything. What comes up almost every time now as the first search result is some type of AI or artificial intelligence response. And what that's doing is, to some degree, it's changing the way search happens, or at least the way search results are presented. Some of the statistics I've seen recently are that in somewhere between 80 and 90% of the time, the AI search result is what the searcher is happy with, meaning they see the result at the top of the page, and instead of doing what they would have done in the past, which is to scroll down and see some of the search engine results on the search engine result page, or SERP, now they're just taking the AI response and going, got the information I needed. Now, what does this all mean? The bad news is that you probably have to learn some new things. There are things like ChatGPT search. If you're not familiar with ChatGPT, you're way behind. It's time to get familiar with things like ChatGPT and Gemini and how AI is playing out in the world of search, and things like ChatGPT search and services like Perplexity, which are potentially taking over or changing the world of search. So if you're a service provider of some sort, like a real estate appraiser, a realtor, or a lender, you may have to change the way you're found in Google. If you relied heavily on search engine optimization, your website, your keywords, your meta tags, your connections on the interworld, then it might be time to start learning how AI, ChatGPT search, Perplexity, and things like that are going to be changing in 2025 and beyond. Now, the good news for some of you, if you pay for things like Google Ads, well, probably not much to worry about. I mean, Google's whole business model is based on serving up the best search results for things that searchers are searching for, but they make their money off of essentially the ads. And so if people aren't clicking on ads, Google's revenue is going to go down. If you're paying for ads, most likely they're going to figure out a way to have those ads still show up. You know that because it will say sponsored ad. You know the ads when you see them. So my recommendation for all businesses, whether you're a product-based business or a service-based business like a real estate appraiser, is to learn how to be found on multiple platforms and channels. Don't just rely on Google search. Don't just rely on your website. And we'll talk about websites in just a minute. But don't just rely on one channel. Learn to be found on social media channels. Learn to be found on different platforms. Of course, become an influential market professional, or a key person of influence, as Daniel Priestley calls them. Learn to create content that is found not just on Google, but all over the place. What's one of the other trends coming in 2025? Well, the third trend, I just mentioned it with Google search, is that AI and the proliferation of AI is making it easy to create content. So for those of you who have kind of poo-pooed the concept of making content to be found, is it too late for you? Well, it may be, and I'll tell you why. Because with the advent and now proliferation of services like Gemini, ChatGPT, Grok, and all of the other AI content creation services that are out there, What we're seeing is a plethora of, or a massive amount of extremely mediocre content being created with the snap of a finger. So with services like ChatGPT, and again, it's not the only one, it's just the one that's becoming maybe the most popular, at least for now. You can create blog posts, and you can create video scripts, and you can create all kinds of content with just one or two prompts. The problem is that now the world is being filled with this extremely mediocre, and I'll go so far as to say soulless at best, wrong and biased at worst, AI content. That's the bad news. The good news, organic marketing is on the rise. What is organic marketing? Organic marketing is what we just talked about. Being found on multiple channels, multiple platforms, and having a real human voice. You're watching me on a video platform, YouTube, which is the second largest search engine in the world, by the way, Google being the first and largest search engine in the world. YouTube is second. So organic marketing is on the rise. I've been saying for years, I think this is the trend and the best news about automation, and it just got accelerated with the advent and proliferation of AI and content creation through AI, is now with all of this kind of mediocre and soulless AI-generated content, most human beings can tell, or are starting to develop the ability to tell when content has been created with AI. In fact, many of the search engines are creating filters and ways to tell if content has been created with AI. In fact, some studies have been done. They're boring and long, and I won't bore you with the details, but these studies have been done, and they're seeing certain words and phrases showing up by the millions because those words and phrases were created by AI, services like ChatGPT, which places now more importance and emphasis on organic marketing. Organic marketing is you, is your voice, is your attitude, is your opinion. The good news is that having a real human voice, having an opinion that cuts through the noise, having I've talked about it many times, teachable point of view is going to make you stand out in this plethora of mediocre and soulless AI content. My recommendation to all of you out there, whether you're a real estate appraiser, a realtor, a lender, or any small business owner, big business owner as well, is learn to have an opinion, learn to speak your mind, learn to stand out, and develop a teachable point of view. If I'll go so far as to say that your opinion should be somewhat provocative and or polarizing. Those are the two P words that I would use, provocative and or polarizing. What I mean by that is that when you have an opinion, if your opinion is always in the middle, meaning the vast majority of people would agree with you, nobody's going to listen. If you are deciding to be provocative simply to be provocative and you end up angering a large amount of people, well, that's not necessarily beneficial either. But I recommend that you take a stand on a particular topic, develop an opinion, and if your opinion is somewhat polarizing, means some of the people really love your idea and other people really hate your idea, either way, your job is to move people off of where they are, at least with your content. And I guarantee you that even if 50% of the people hate what you have to say, they will probably be the people who come back to see what you say next. So the good news with this particular trend, the proliferation of AI content, is that if you're somebody, well, like me, making content on YouTube, developing podcasts, getting out in your market, showing your face, sharing your voice, and you have, if not controversial or provocative, at least something of a polarizing opinion and a teachable point of view, you're likely to stand out in 2025. What's the fourth trend in 2025? Staying on this theme of AI-powered chatbots and agents. AI-powered chatbots and agents. Now, I've been teaching our coaching students for many, many years now that one, well, you have to have a website. And although my views have changed slightly in that I don't think you necessarily have to have a website today, but you have to have at least a landing page, if not connected landing pages, to be found in search and to be existent in the world of search. But AI chatbots, if you've got a website or landing pages, I think every single one of those needs to have a little chatbot. What's a chatbot? Well, you know what it is. You land on a website and there's a little thing in one of the corners that makes a sound, bling, it pops up and it says, hey, anything I can answer for you? Anything I can help you with? I've told many times to our coaching groups, every month I pay my water bill via a chatbot. Our city has a chatbot, yours might as well. And when I go to pay my water bill, I just log in on the computer, city water department, and the little chatbot comes up and it says, AI-powered chatbot. It says, what do you want to do? Pay bill? And you choose pay bill. It's really a helper bot. And then it gives you kind of preset answers and choices. Do you want to do this? Yes. But it automatically knows because of my IP address, my address. And then it says, do you want to pay your bill? Yes. And then it finds my bill, boom. And then it has an account remembered and I pay my bill. So within 27 seconds, I've got my water bill paid. And of course, we can pay our gas bills and our electric bills and all kinds of other things now with AI chatbots. So AI-powered chatbots, I recommend you have some type of function or feature. Understand that when it comes to communicating and moving people through, I hate to use the word funnel, but if you have people landing on your website and you want to get them to the point where you're maybe on the phone with them or they've made a choice to buy some service from you, in the case of appraisers, choose to order an appraisal, you have to have intermediate steps sometimes. Very rarely will people just land on a website and then they'll buy something. No, they need to do a little research, and the chatbot can be an intermediary or interim step between taking a big risk for a customer. Big risk is committing to something like a phone call and then having to talk with a human being, where a chatbot can be a nice, safe, anonymous way to move people through the trust ladder. So with a chatbot, the little thing pops up, a sound is made and says, hey, thanks for stopping by our website. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with, or is there anything I can help you with? And some percentage of people, let's say it's maybe 20% or less of the people, will chat with that chatbot, especially if the script or the questions are right. And you can find the best questions to ask usually by combing through data. Nevertheless, if the questions are right and somebody is willing to chat with the chatbot, you can move them along the trust ladder to the point where then you can potentially get them on a phone call and have them in your funnel to eventually build trust to the point where they say, I want to choose you. You're the one. I've built some trust along the way. It started off with this kind of low risk, anonymous, or I could remain anonymous type chatbot. And you moved me nicely through the process to the point where one of the questions you can ask is, oh, by the way, is there a good time to have a chat to continue this by phone? And normally, in our experience, 95% of the time, somebody will say, oh, here's my phone number, this is my name, and this is a good time to call. And if you can move from chat to human connection via voice, the probability, the odds and probabilities of making a sale, whether it be now or in the near future, because you move somebody along the trust ladder, goes way up. So those are the 4 trends in 2025 that I recommend you really keep your eyes peeled for. Again, changes in appraisal waivers from 80% to 90%, the lending guidelines changing, the ROV, reconsideration of value process, and of course, adjustment support. What does this all mean? It means you have to become more professional, more educated, more focused, and of course, more efficient. SEO and search, trend number 2. What are you going to do about not being found in Google? Are you going to let AI take over your business? Be visible and found on multiple channels and multiple platforms. That means creating content, friends. Appraisers, if you haven't been making content in 2024, it's time to make it in 2025. If you haven't started to build your non-lender appraisal business, it's time to build your non-lender appraisal business. That first trend, the increase in appraisal waivers, means lending work is going to go down. Non-lending work may very well go up. I've done other videos on the baby boomers, the age of people, and the 3Ds, defaults, divorces, and death, unfortunately. But almost all of those need appraisals. So if you're not building your non-lender and private appraisal business in 2025, I don't know if there's much hope for you. The third trend, AI making it easy to make content. Of course, utilize AI to make content. But before you just post that content to the interwebs, make it human. Humanize the bot. Humanize the AI content. Take the AI in artificial intelligence and turn it into AI actual intelligence. That's the conversion process. So utilize services like Gemini and ChatGPT and any other content creation platforms, but don't send it straight out to the world. Make it human. It's mediocre and soulless when it comes out of the AI content creation service. So again, the good news is that with the proliferation and the rise of AI content, more and more human beings are going to be craving other human being connection. They want a real human taking them by the hand and walking them to the solution in many instances. They may not need a human to walk them through the whole thing, which is where AI and chatbots and your website and content can move them along the process. But at some point, when the real human can step in, you'll see your business skyrocket. The real human can cut through the noise, and having an opinion, and especially one that is slightly polarizing, can rocket your content to the top. The last of the trends, AI-powered chatbots. We just talked about it. Make sure you have some type of ability. In the case of a chatbot, it doesn't even need to be AI, but you will see an increase in AI chatbots. And another word, AI agents. You'll see a lot more of those in 2025. If you don't know what they are, well, just learn what that is. Learn what AI chatbots and AI agents mean, because you may find yourself using them in your business. 4 trends to keep your eye on in 2025, whether you're a real estate appraiser, real estate agent, lender, or really any service-based business. Hope this has been helpful for you, my friends, and we'll see you on the next one.